Welcome to the Maya Auto Setup tutorial. In this guide, we'll walk you through the essentials of exporting characters to Maya, applying lighting presets, adjusting HDRIs and materials, and rendering final images. Before we begin in Maya, we first need to export the FBX file from Character Creator. This character has two subdivision levels. And if we switch to the Texture tab, we can see that normal maps are already applied. However, to faithfully reproduce all the surface details in Maya, normal maps alone aren't sufficient. We'll also need to use dedicated displacement maps. These displacement maps are available in the Content Manager. Navigate to CC5 HD Texture Pack, and under the HD Displacement folder, there are 8K textures for CC5 HD characters. For this demonstration, we'll apply the appropriate maps to Aaron's textures before proceeding with the export. As for the wrinkle maps in the Expression Wrinkle tab, there are normal maps for wrinkle display in CC. But if we want to export them to Maya, we also need to apply the wrinkle displacement maps for each facial region to Aaron. With the character ready, go to File, Export, FBX, and choose Clothed Character to open the export dialog. In the Target Tool preset, select Maya. Under FBX options, you can choose to export the mesh, motion, or both. For this example, we'll include both. Set the subdivision level to Subdivision 1 for optimal performance and quality. Use Subdivision 2 only if your system has more than 64 GB of RAM, as it's significantly more demanding. In the texture settings, disable Embed Textures. Then, in the Advanced Options section, make sure Export JSON for Auto Material Setup is enabled. This file is essential for Maya to reconstruct the correct shading network. Use the current pose for export and leave the baking options at their default settings. Finally, click Export and choose a location to save your file. Open the Maya Auto Setup window and select the FBX file we just exported. If you already have a Maya project folder structure set up and want to consolidate all related textures, enable Collect Textures. This will copy the textures into the appropriate assets or source images folder within your project directory. Then, click Import to bring the character into the scene. To view the character with textures applied, press 6 or click the shaded plus textured icon at the top of the viewport. For a cleaner view, you can temporarily hide the bone rig in the viewport. Go to Show, Viewport, and uncheck Rigging and Animation so the rig controls are no longer visible. With everything set up, let's move on to the Look Development tab in the Auto Setup window. Here, you'll find a variety of lighting presets designed for either headshots or full-body presentations. As you apply different presets, you'll notice changes in the number and placement of lights, with each one creating a unique atmosphere suited for different aesthetic goals. To remove a lighting setup, simply click Remove Light Preset. After that, you can apply one of the full-body light presets. In addition to lighting changes, some presets also include a backdrop, which helps enhance background separation and gives the scene a grounded look. Before diving into the HDR setup, let's first load the Macbeth chart along with the chrome and gray balls. They are useful tools for compositing and light matching. Use the outline control to reposition them appropriately within the scene. Then, go to the HDR tab and click Load HDR to load the default environment map. Once loaded, the HDR image will appear in the viewport. To preview its effect in real time, start the Arnold Render view. You can switch between different HDR presets to explore a variety of lighting themes. Use the rotation offset slider to rotate the HDR map, which changes the direction of the lighting in the scene. This effect is especially noticeable on the chrome ball. To control overall brightness, adjust the exposure value. This will affect both the environment background and the lighting on the character. In contrast, modifying the HDR opacity only affects the visibility of the background, not the character's lighting. Next, let's take a look at the Material tab, which brings together a wide range of useful sliders and settings for fine-tuning your character's appearance. You'll find adjustable parameters for various parts of the character, including skin, eyes, teeth, and more. Keep in mind that if you switch to a different project midway, you'll need to click Update Material Parameters to refresh the material settings. With everything loaded, you're now ready to start editing and refining the materials to suit your scene. Before diving into the material parameter settings, let's first set up the displacement for our character. In CC5, the Enhanced Displacement Map system allows us to add highly accurate 3D details to skin and props, bringing a new level of realism to your creations. Select Aaron's skin geometry and go to the Shape node. Under the Arnold section, you'll find the subdivision settings, which control displacement quality and strength. Change the subdivision type to Catmull Clark, then set how many times the surface will be subdivided. If it's set to 0, there won't be enough geometry to hold the skin details and deformations. The ideal value depends on your displacement map. Skin textures usually work best at 2 or 3 subdivisions. Just remember, higher values will increase render time. You can also fine-tune the displacement strength by adjusting the height value. Higher values will give you more pronounced skin details. For the height value, you can also make adjustments directly in the displacement node inside Hypershade. Just locate the displacement shader, and you'll see a scale parameter there. This value will add to the height value in the geometry's shape node we mentioned earlier. So, depending on your workflow, you can adjust either one to get the desired displacement strength. If we have multiple objects that need to share the same displacement settings, we can group them into a set and adjust the values once for all of them. To do this, go to Create Sets and open the Set option box. Create a displacement set, and you'll see it appear in the outliner. Select the set, open the Arnold section, and add render overrides. First, search for AI displacement and add the height parameter. Then search for AI subdivision and add both iterations and subdivision type. Now set the subdivision type and value as we discussed earlier. Finally, middle mouse drag any other meshes, like teeth or tongue, into this set. The newly added objects will automatically inherit the correct displacement settings. Now, back to material adjustment. Let's begin by demonstrating how to adjust the human skin shaders in the Skin tab. Since this character model doesn't include a full body, only the head materials are available for editing. By lowering the specular value, the skin appears more diffused, resulting in a matte-like finish. Increasing the roughness makes reflections broader, especially around the cheeks, while the overall reflection intensity remains consistent. For finer control, the Roughness Advanced section allows you to tweak the roughness of individual facial areas, such as the nose, lips, and cheeks. You can also reduce the tiling value for the micro-normal map to make fine surface details more prominent on the character's face. Another powerful option is adjusting the subsurface scattering color, which can enhance realism by adding a subtle reddish tone to translucent areas of the skin. Similarly, the Eyes section lets you fine-tune the iris color, corneal specular reflection, and pupil size, allowing for highly expressive looks. There are also a variety of settings for hair materials, such as shininess, specular reflection, and color adjustments for the tips and roots. Likewise, the Teeth tab offers controls for SSS, roughness, and color adjustments for both the teeth and gums, giving you full flexibility over the entire facial material setup. In the Wrinkle tab, you'll find sliders that control the overall strength of the dynamic wrinkle effect. You can also fine-tune the wrinkles across 13 individual facial zones, allowing for precise control over areas like the brows, forehead, eyes, and more. For a deeper understanding of dynamic wrinkles, please visit our website for additional resources and documentation. Now, let's compare the results by observing the wrinkle behavior between the brow and forehead areas when animated. Beyond shader adjustments, Maya Auto Setup also supports the creation of facial and body rigs, allowing you to edit and animate characters directly inside Maya. For facial animation, you can use the UI morph sliders to quickly create expressions with intuitive controls. For body animation, once you've baked the motion to the control rig, you'll be able to easily select and manipulate rig handles directly in the viewport. In this example, we first bake the animation to the body rig in the Human IK tab, then add an animation layer to store our edits. This allows us to refine the original animation while keeping the workflow non-destructive. For a deeper dive into animation workflows in Maya, as well as prop transfers using the Maya Auto Setup, be sure to watch the dedicated tutorial included in this series. That wraps up this quick introduction to the Maya Auto Setup workflow. With this tool, creators can put together a powerful and streamlined pipeline,